The galaxy feared one name, the Var Dominion. For centuries they moved from one star to another, conquering every world they found. They ruled with iron and fire, leaving behind ashes and silence. No empire, no species, no alliance had ever stopped them. Their fleets filled the skies like golden storms. Massive warships shaped like blades cut through space. Their banners shone bright above every defeated world. Where their fleet appeared, resistance ended. On the planet Thalan IV, their newest victory burned, cities still smoked, oceans boiled, and broken towers reflected the flames of orbiting ships. The Dominion soldiers marched through ruined streets. Cold and proud, another civilization erased, another flag raised. High Commander Xerath watched the destruction from his flagship. The glory of empire, he smiled, his sharp eyes glowing with pride. Around him, holograms showed fleet movements and victory reports. 1,000 voices hailed him as the bringer of order. He whispered, "The galaxy bends before us." But far beyond the burning world, a small signal appeared. A scout ship had found something unusual. An empty system at the edge of the mapped region. No trade routes, no colonies, no communication beacons, just silence, deep and cold. The scout captain described it as a hole in the stars. No light reflected from the planets. Sensors went dark when they got closer. It was like the system refused to be seen. The report reached Commander Xerath. He frowned, then laughed. An unmarked system? Probably pirates or cowards hiding in the dark, he said. Send the Third Fleet to investigate. Erase whatever hides there. The order spread fast. Thousands of ships prepared for jump. Engines glowing like tiny suns. Crew members shouted coordinates. Soldiers cheered. Another conquest was waiting. They believed it would be easy, just like all others. When the fleet entered warp space, the stars stretched into lines of light. Energy waves shimmered across the ships. Moments later, they exited near the silent system, and then nothing. No stars shone. No planets reflected light. It was as if the universe had gone blind. Confusion spread through the fleet. "Where are the suns? Where are the signals?" The officers shouted. Scanners reported errors. Navigation failed. Even the Dominion's advanced sensors could see nothing. Then a whisper came through the comms. At first it sounded like static, but slowly words formed. Deep, calm and human. Turn back. This region is under Terran protection. Every bridge fell silent. Crew members looked at one another. Terran? What does that mean? Someone asked. No one knew. Xerath ordered the message to be traced, but the signal came from everywhere. Every ship heard it. Every channel carried the same voice. Turn back. This region is under Terran protection. The Dominion officers laughed. Some ancient remnant, maybe a lost outpost, they said. A scare tactic, another mocked. They had crushed empires before breakfast. One small warning would not stop them. Xerath stood tall and raised his hand. Forward. I will not be threatened by ghosts, he said. The fleet advanced, cutting through the dark void. Engines glowed, energy rippled, but the deeper they went, the more wrong everything felt. Gravity shifted. Sensors flickered. One by one, ships began losing contact. First the scout wing disappeared. Then the second carrier group. No explosions, no distress calls, just gone. The navigator screamed, "Sir, our coordinates are changing. The system is moving." That was impossible. But the readings were clear. It was like space itself was twisting around them. The communication officer gasped. "Unknown object detected. Multiple surrounding us." Xerath looked at the hologram. Dots appeared all around their fleet. Dark shapes, no signatures, no lights, like shadows in the void. "Identify." Xerath shouted, but the answer never came. Instead, every ship received the message again, louder this time. "This is your final warning. Leave Sol Command territory now." Still, the Dominion refused. Pride filled their hearts. They believed they were unstoppable. "Fire," Xerath ordered. Hundreds of Dominion cannons released plasma beams into the dark. The energy vanished into nothing, absorbed. Swallowed, erased, no target was destroyed. Then something moved from the shadows. A beam of light appeared, thin, bright, silent. It cut through a Dominion battleship in one clean stroke. The ship split apart without a sound. Crew members stared in horror as their mighty fleet began to fall. Xerath clenched his fists. "What are they?" he whispered. No one answered. Only the endless black answered with another beam. "Another ship gone." The last words heard across the Dominion fleet were calm and final. "You were warned." The transmission ended. And for the first time in centuries, the unstoppable Dominion felt fear, because something greater had awakened in the dark, something that called itself humanity. And it had just drawn the line the galaxy would never cross again. Silence filled the command bridge of the glory of Empire. The crew waited for the next order, their faces pale under the flickering lights. No one spoke of the message they had just heard, but everyone remembered the voice, cold, human, and calm. "This region is under Terran protection." Commander Zerath leaned forward, his golden armor shining faintly in the dim light. His voice was low but firm. "Terran protection? A ghost claim. Empty words. We are the Dominion, the rulers of this galaxy." He turned to his fleet officers. "Prepare for combat. I want every sensor active. Every weapon ready." Around him, the fleet obeyed. Thousands of ships adjusted formation, energy cores pulsing, their engines burned brighter, casting light into the endless black void. The Dominion was not used to fear. They believed in power, not warnings. Still deep inside, even the bravest soldier felt something unnatural here. Space felt heavy, like it was watching them. And though no stars could be seen, they all felt as if countless eyes were staring back. A junior officer whispered, "Sir, long-range sensors still show nothing. No planets, no ships, no signal origin." Zerath smiled bitterly. "Then we'll make them come to us. Fire an energy flare. Let the cowards show themselves." A bright pulse shot into the void, lighting the dark system like a sudden sunrise. For a few seconds, the fleet could finally see again. And what they saw froze every heart. In the light of the flare, shapes appeared, hundreds of them, dark, motionless, surrounding the Dominion armada from every angle. Their hulls reflected no light. They were there all along waiting. The flare dimmed, and the shadows moved. "Contact. Multiple unknown ships closing in," the sensor chief shouted. "Form defensive line." Zerath barked. Thousands of Dominion ships locked into tight formation, weapons charging. The entire fleet became a glowing web of power, ready to destroy anything, but before they could fire, the unknown fleet transmitted again. A single human voice spoke, "This is your final warning. You are trespassing in Sol Command territory. Leave now." Zerath's eyes blazed with fury. "Enough of this. Open fire!" The Dominion unleashed its wrath. Millions of plasma beams, rail slugs, and energy torpedoes tore through the darkness. Explosions filled the void, but they hit nothing. Every shot passed through empty space. Targets vanished before impact. Then the darkness answered. Beams of white-blue energy appeared without sound. They moved faster than light could be seen. The first Dominion destroyer vanished. Then 3 more, sliced apart by invisible fire. No sound, no explosion, only a flash, then silence, shields failing. "Weapons offline," screamed one officer. "It's like our systems are melting," shouted another. Zerath slammed his fist on the console. "Find their source! Track the attack vectors." But the human ships remained invisible, cloaked by something beyond Dominion understanding. The Dominion fleet fired blindly, desperate. Ships collided, systems overloaded within minutes. Over 100 vessels were destroyed, and still, the enemy had not shown their true form then. A massive shadow appeared ahead, larger than any Dominion dreadnought. A ship so black it absorbed all light. Its outline was smooth, predatory, beautiful and terrifying. It moved slowly, like a mountain gliding through the void. When its hull lights finally flickered on, a name could be seen, engraved in ancient Terran letters, TSS Dauntless. Every Dominion officer stared at the image in disbelief. "What is that thing? Impossible. No Empire builds ships that size," one whispered. The human voice returned, a deeper now, calm, unshaken. "You were told to leave. Now you will learn what it means to defy humanity." Without warning, the Dauntless released a wave of pure energy. It wasn't a beam. It was gravity itself turned into a weapon. Every Dominion ship nearby was thrown aside. Shields crushed, hulls bending like paper. Alarms screamed across the fleet. Entire battle groups vanished in seconds, pulled into collapsing space. The communication lines filled with cries, "Help us! We're losing engines! We can't break free. Something's tearing reality apart," and then, silence again. Half the Dominion fleet was gone. The rest drifted helplessly, their systems fried, their weapons dead. Zerath stood frozen, his hands trembling. "Who are they?" he whispered, his second-in-command, voice shaking, replied, "Sir, our archives. There were records long ago. Humans, they vanished before the Dominion's rise. Zerath turned sharply. Humans? Those weak primitives from the old wars? The officer nodded. Maybe not weak anymore. Suddenly, a new transmission appeared, this time not a warning. A holographic image filled the bridge. A human admiral in dark armor, eyes cold as ice. Behind him, the black stars glowed red with fire. "I am Admiral Reyes of Sol Command," he said. "Your fleet has violated restricted space. You attacked first. We respond with finality." He paused, staring directly into Zerath's eyes through the projection. "Tell your Dominion this. The age of conquest ends tonight." The image faded. And then, from every side, human ships decloaked, and hundreds of them, silent. Coordinated, merciless for the first time. The Dominion saw the fleet that darkened the heavens, and for the first time in history, they realized they were not the hunters anymore, they were the prey. The Dominion once believed their fleets were unmatched. They believed no power could challenge their empire. But now, as the void around them came alive with movement, they finally learned what true power looked like. The darkness itself began to shift from every direction. Silent shapes emerged, black warships gliding like shadows given form. Their hulls swallowed light, their surfaces smooth and alive. No thrusters burned, no engines flared. Yet they moved. Fast. "Precise, unstoppable, multiple contacts. Hundreds, no thousands," shouted the sensor officer. Zerath's voice trembled as he stared into the holographic display. "What are those ships made of? Why can't sensors read them?" The technician whispered. "They don't reflect energy. They drink it." A human voice echoed again across all frequencies, calm and merciless. "You were warned. Stand down or be erased." But Dominion pride was stronger than reason. They raised shields, armed weapons, and prepared for one last attack. "Fire at will," Zerath commanded. The void erupted with energy beams. Thousands of plasma cannons unleashed fury, lighting up space like a newborn star. But the human ships did not even move. The beams bent around them, curved, and disappeared into the black hulls. The Dominion had never seen such technology. Their weapons were useless. Then the Dark Fleet replied. No warning, no countdown, only judgment. From the front line of human warships, beams of invisible light cut through the void. The Dominion dreadnoughts exploded, silently, cleanly, as if erased from reality itself. Ships vanished without debris, without wreckage, just gone. The crew of the Glory of Empire watched in horror. Entire formations blinked out in seconds. The humans weren't just fighting. They were removing the Dominion from existence. Zerath's voice broke. "All ships retreat. Get us out of here." But the navigation systems flashed red. Jump drive jammed. Space corridor locked. They were trapped on the human flagship TSS Dauntless. Admiral Reyes watched silently, his face cold, eyes sharp as steel around him. Officers moved with silent discipline. They didn't cheer. They didn't shout. They simply carried out orders like they had done this 1,000 times before. "Admiral," a young officer said softly, "Dominion fleet is collapsing. Should we pursue?" Reyes shook his head. "No, let them run. Let them tell the galaxy what they saw." The officer hesitated. "But sir, they destroyed our colonies centuries ago. Millions died." Reyes turned his gaze toward the holomap, where red lights marked every Dominion system. His voice was calm but heavy. "They thought we were extinct. We became the dark. Now we remind them why humanity survived." The Dauntless turned, and the fleet followed, moving like one entity. The darkness around them shimmered and folded in seconds. They vanished again, leaving behind only silence and burning wrecks. Back on the Glory of Empire, panic spread. Half the Dominion fleet was gone. The survivors limped through the void. Their hulls cracked, systems fried. Zerath's comm channels filled with screams and static. No response from the second armada. "The dreadnoughts are gone. Sir, it's not a fleet. It's a weapon." Zerath finally spoke, voice trembling. "What kind of monsters are these humans?" No one answered. But deep inside, everyone remembered the old stories. Ancient legends from before the Dominion's rise. Stories of a world called Earth. A species that fought wars with gods and won. A race that vanished into silence after they were betrayed. The Dominion had found traces of them long ago. Ruins. Burned colonies, dead worlds. They called them weak, primitive, unworthy of remembrance. But now the truth was rising like a storm. The humans had not died. They had gone into the void. They had built in shadows, unseen, untouched. And when the time came, they returned not as victims, but as hunters. Across the galaxy, other civilizations began to hear whispers. Rumors spread fast. Dominion fleets destroyed by ghosts. Ships vanished in a black system. Humans have returned. The Dominion High Council tried to silence the news, but leaked recordings showed what really happened. Footage of a human warship larger than cities, moving without sound, surrounded by lightless fighters, and a single phrase spoken before every Dominion ship fell, for Sul, for the lost. When the news reached the outer worlds, panic began. Some species cheered, hoping the humans would destroy their oppressors. Others prayed the humans would never come for them next. Meanwhile, Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the Dauntless. Staring at the stars, he whispered softly, almost to himself, "They took everything from us once, but we rebuilt. We endured. And now," he turned to his second officer, "prepare the next jump. We move on their capital next." The officer's eyes widened. "Sir, that will start a full-scale galactic war." Reyes nodded slowly. "It already has." The human fleet vanished once again, silent. Precise, unstoppable, and behind them the void remained dark. Not because the stars had gone out, but because humanity had chosen to cover them. The galaxy would soon learn, you can crush civilizations, but you can never extinguish the fire of humanity. The once glorious Var Dominion had never known fear. For centuries their fleets ruled the stars. Their soldiers crushed worlds. They believed themselves untouchable, gods among mortals. But now, as broken ships drifted through the black void, their empire began to bleed. In the council chamber on the Dominion capital, Falroon panic ruled the air. Dozens of alien governors shouted over each other, their holograms flickering with static. "Entire fleets lost. Communication blackouts. No survivors." The Emperor slammed his fist against the table. His voice thundered, "Silence! Who dares attack the Dominion?" A trembling officer stepped forward. "We analyzed the wreckage, my lord." The energy signatures. They matched no known technology, but one word appeared in every log before destruction: Terran. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Terran? That extinct species? Impossible, another general whispered. Maybe not extinct anymore. The chamber fell silent. And outside, in orbit above the capital, defense fleets formed. Thousands of dreadnoughts aligned in perfect order, weapons glowing like stars ready to burn. They waited for the enemy who had erased entire armadas. Far away in the cold dark between galaxies, the Terran fleet assembled. Hundreds of black warships floated in formation, silent, unblinking, alive. At the center stood the TSS Dauntless, its surface covered in faint red runes that pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside, Admiral Reyes stood before a massive screen showing Dominion territory. One by one, systems marked red were going dark, falling silent. Liberated, he turned to his officers. "Prepare the Exodus drive, target Dominion capital. We end this tonight." The officer hesitated. "Sir, we will face their entire defense network." Reyes nodded slowly. "I know. Let them see what they created." Moments later, space twisted. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace just outside the Dominion's home star system. No warning, no signal. They simply appeared, like shadows unfolding from light. Every Dominion sensor screamed alarms. "Unknown fleet detected. Thousands of contacts. They're inside the outer perimeter." The sky over Falroon darkened. Citizens looked up and saw the heavens fill with black shapes. No stars, no sun, only the vast silhouettes of Terran ships blotting out the sky. Whispers spread through the city. Are those the humans? The Dominion launched everything. Tens of thousands of ships surged toward the Terran line. Energy cannons roared, missiles streaked. The vacuum of space became a storm of fire. But the Terrans did not move. Their ships remained still, silent, like mountains refusing to bend before wind. Then, in one synchronized moment, their weapons activated. A single pulse spread from the Dauntless, connecting every human vessel in a glowing network of red light. The Terran fleet fired as one. The first wave erased 1,000 Dominion ships in seconds. No sound, no debris, just light, and then nothing. The second wave bent reality itself, tearing through shields and hulls alike. Every Dominion weapon turned against them, hacked. Redirected, self-destructed, it was not a battle. It was a purge on the Dauntless, an officer whispered. Sir, their defenses are collapsing. Reyes replied coldly. Then target their command center. Make it quick. Over Veil Rune the sky split open. A beam of white energy pierced the upper atmosphere. It did not destroy the planet. It simply erased the orbiting fleets layer by layer. People on the ground watched as golden ships, the pride of their empire, fell like burning stars. The Emperor looked up from his palace window, his voice breaking. What have we done? The Terrans could have ended it there, but they didn't. Instead, the Dauntless transmitted across every galactic frequency. Admiral Reyes's voice echoed through every world, every species, every heart. This is Sol Command. We were the children you abandoned, the ones you burned. You called us extinct, but we built in silence, and now your age of arrogance ends. The Dominion is no more. Billions heard it. Some cheered, some wept, some trembled. Then, as the Terran fleet withdrew, a colossal symbol appeared in the skies above Veil Rune. An image projected across the stars. The blue marble of Earth, glowing softly among the darkness, and below it, a single phrase burned in every language of the galaxy. Humanity does not conquer. Humanity remembers. When the transmission ended, the Dominion world fell silent, their fleets gone, their emperor broken, their rule shattered for the first time in history. The galaxy stood without a master, and somewhere deep in the black, the humans vanished again, leaving behind only stories. Whispers spread through every world. They came like ghosts. They fight like gods. They left like legends. But in the heart of every alien, one truth burned bright. The humans were not just back. They had never truly left, and when the stars darken again, it will mean only one thing. Humanity has returned to finish what it started. The Dominion had fallen. Its worlds lay silent. Its fleets shattered, its banners burned. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy had no masters. Only rumors, whispers of ships that appeared from the dark and vanished just as fast. They called them the Terrans, the ghosts of a forgotten war. The species that the Dominion once erased, now returned as something greater, something unstoppable across the stars. Entire civilizations trembled. Governments sent peace offers to empty space. Armies stood ready, praying the humans would not come. But deep in the void, the Terran fleet was already moving again. Inside the command deck of the TSS Dauntless, Admiral Reyes stood before the viewing glass. A sea of black ships stretched before him, tens of thousands. Silent and waiting, each one bore the mark of Earth, the old blue insignia glowing faintly against the hull. Status? Reyes asked quietly. His second officer replied, All systems ready. The Dominion capital is secure. The Council fleets are scattering. Reyes nodded, eyes fixed on the stars. And yet the galaxy still fights itself, he said. They never learn. Maybe it's time we teach them why peace was always our final weapon. The fleet turned toward the galactic core. Warp drives ignited, but no light followed. Their jump technology left no trail. No ripple, they vanished unseen. The arrival on a neutral world named Kalora. Dozens of alien leaders gathered. They argued about who would rise next to take the Dominion's place. None of them noticed the sudden shadow growing above the clouds. It started as darkness on the horizon, then spread until the entire sky turned black. People ran into the streets, looking upward. Their suns were gone. Replaced by a wall of ships, massive, endless, silent, someone whispered, It's the Terrans. The ground trembled as sound followed. Not thunder, but deep resonance like the heartbeat of a god above them. Thousands of Terran warships hovered, their undersides glowing with red runes. They didn't fire, they didn't speak, they simply waited. Then, a single transmission echoed across every planet. Admiral Reyes's voice filled the skies. This is Sol Command. The Dominion is over. The era of slavery, war, and conquest ends now. The message played in every language, across every channel, even in the minds of those who didn't understand words. They felt its meaning. He continued, You have two paths, peace under free worlds, or destruction under your pride. Choose. Every ruler froze. Some wept, some knelt, and across hundreds of worlds, armies lowered their weapons, the revelation on the Dauntless. A young officer turned to Reyes. Sir, they're surrendering. Entire sectors. No resistance. Reyes nodded slowly. Good. Then send the message. Humanity doesn't rule. It restores balance. For a moment he was silent, watching the holographic projection of Earth floating in the dark. That small blue planet, once weak, once forgotten. Now the heart of fear and hope. Another officer approached. "Sir, the Council requests contact." "They want to join us." Reyes smiled faintly. "Let them, but they will follow our code. No more chains. No more empires." The humans had done what no species ever could. They had ended the age of conquest without burning the galaxy. Their fleets became the night sky itself. Guardians instead of conquerors. The final act weeks later, the last Dominion outpost surrendered. No shots fired, no blood spilled. The moment was broadcast live across the galaxy. Human ships entering orbit, releasing aid drones, rebuilding what they once destroyed. On Vailrune, the former Dominion capital, the Emperor walked through the ruins of his palace. Above him hung the Terran fleet, massive, motionless, covering every inch of sky. He fell to his knees as Admiral Reyes's voice echoed from above. "Your arrogance ended worlds. Ours restored them. Remember this balance." Then the fleet began to move. One by one, Terran warships vanished into the void, leaving only the stars behind. No cheers, no victory songs, only silence and peace. The legend centuries passed. Children of alien worlds looked up at the sky and told stories of the night when the heavens turned black. They said a fleet came, dark as death, bright as mercy, and from its heart spoke a voice that ended all wars. They called it the fleet that darkened the heavens. They said its commander, Admiral Reyes, still watches from the void, waiting for the day arrogance returns, waiting for the day the galaxy forgets what fear feels like. And far, far away in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, a planet turned slowly under a warm sun. Blue and green and alive, children played, unaware that their ancestors once burned the stars. On a hill above the sea, a monument stood, an old steel plate with words carved deep. We were hunted. We hid, we survived. And when the stars darkened, the galaxy learned our name. The wind carried those words across the waves, and somewhere beyond the clouds, a shadow passed. Vast, silent, watching, humanity had not vanished. Humanity was guarding.